Hey everybody, I'm back with the bonus material, and oh yeah, I gotta, which one is this? Sweet, I gotta wait till we get back there. Hold on a minute.
Doing Twisted Metal 1 and Twisted Metal 2 took an enormous toll on myself and the rest of the team, and to really not have any financial upside that as a result of that really started to I think affect myself and the rest of the team. We put so much time and effort into these titles, and now they were seeing decent success, with Twisted Metal 2 being a $1 million+ seller. We started to have conversations of, wow, this really sucks to pour your heart and soul into something, put your family on the back burner, and at the end of the day, what did you get from it? Well, a reputation for making a good, fun car combat game. That wasn't enough going forward, and I think that really started the start of the exodus of a lot of us. Regarding Twisted Metal 3 and 4, I think my reaction and many other people on the team is, what have you done with our baby?
I didn't really play Twisted Metal 3 and 4 very much. To me, they weren't really Twisted Metal, because they didn't have the same feel at all.
When they said that the guys from Utah weren't going to be doing Twisted 3, it was going to be the guys in San Diego, I was like, all right, I'll help them out if I can, but it's not that I didn't care, like, screw Twisted Metal, I don't care, but I had sort of moved on, so it didn't really bother me. It only bothered me once the games came out. You have to sort of understand the world of Twisted Metal to make a Twisted Metal game, and I think what those guys got was they understood it sort of at a marketing level. Twisted Metal's cool, and the characters are dark, and they're wacky, but it was done like a 40-year-old trying to be cool, versus actually somebody who got the world and loved the world and respected the world. It felt more like they were trying to sort of, they were like posing, basically, and I think it really comes through in every aspect of those games.
So, Sweet Tooth, your wish is to eat all the candy and ice cream you want? Your wish is granted.
Oh, Jesus, when I saw the Sweet Tooth character design for 3 and then 4, which was worse, I mean, he looked like a Carney Barker with these stupid neon purple pants, and it's like, what is this? Sweet Tooth is, like I've said, Sweet Tooth is me. Sweet Tooth is the darkest, most animalistic side of me, and you guys are turning him into a joke. I know the guys who made 3 and 4. They're good guys. Some of them have moved on to make some really great games in the industry. But those games, what I'd say? By and of themselves, I think there are things in those games that are certainly cool. And there's good work in those games on every aspect, code and art and game design. That's not to say by themselves they're bad games. They're just bad Twisted Metal games.
So that's when we set out to start Incognito on the new platform, PlayStation 2, with Twisted Metal Black.
Black was tough because we knew we were getting the series back, me and the guys in Utah, and we knew we weren't relevant anymore. We knew that the industry had moved on. We knew that sort of what was edgy and cool in 1994, 5, and 6 was no longer edgy and cool in 2001. And so what I was in love with on Twisted Metal Black was the world, and the tone, and the characters, and the stories.
Sony would let Dave do really kind of risque things. They were graphic, they were bloody, they were gory, and they weren't just made for, little tiny kids that were probably never intended to play Twisted Metal. especially by Twisted Metal Black.
You know, at the time, a lot of people were looking for really arcadey, bright, happy-looking games, and to make this shift to a really dark game was really sort of a gamble in a way. We knew that we were going for a totally different style. It was going to be a more mature game. We wanted to be dark and kind of foreboding.
For the first time, we were important. We were feared.
And feel like a dangerous world.
A lot of times you think that when someone has these kind of ideas, you're thinking, are they trying too hard to be edgy and cool and not nerd-like, or do they really kind of think this way? And it really became obvious that in the case of David Jaffe, there really is some deep, dark, evil motivations that kind of, I think, spark his imagination.
There were things I wanted to do in Black that they wouldn't let me do, and some of it was just so. Okay, some of it was valid, right? We had a scene with the preacher who thought he was performing an exorcism, but he was crazy. He was really being asked to perform a baptism, and so he drowns this. Well, we had this great shot of, and I have kids, right? I love kids. I'm a nice, gentle guy, but it's a fantasy, right? And in the scene, there was this great shot of him pushing this little, 5-day-old into the baptismal, into the water, and his little arms and chubby little legs are kicking around in there, and he's just like shoving the thing down there, because in his mind, he's like exorcising this demon. Sony made us cut that. Now, I understand that. That makes sense. As much as I would have liked to have seen that, I understand that. But then you know what it was? It gave people within the company an opportunity to kind of play the aren't I noble and pious, and aren't I normal card? And it's like, you.
The voice inside me was a figment of my imagination. My God, it was all in my mind.
It was just an opportunity for people to act like, I want to say something, and I want to make a statement. It's like, please get the out of my kitchen. I'm trying to cook this stew.
A man cannot hide from himself. There is only one path before.
A big part of making a game is just getting a visual image of what this thing's going to look like. We had a machine now that we could really do some nice graphics on, take it to a different level. And this one was the first time I felt like we were really creating a universe, a place that was apart from the world, that when you go into it, you feel like you're really in a consistent, interesting world. I still really like the Suburbs and Twisted Metal Black. That was the level where we had these concepts and we had rendered it on a PC, and to see that turn into a level you can actually play and keep the art style and the personality. It holds a special place in my heart. I still really like that level just because of those things.
I definitely don't think it's the best game in the series. I think 2 is still the best game in the series. I think, honestly, at that time, I had gotten bored of the mechanics of the series. And so what I was in love with on Twisted Metal Black was the world. And I think because of that, the gameplay actually suffered. It was too hard. It wasn't creative enough. We really tied ourselves up being forced to every level having the same color palette of browns and blacks and grays and clouds in the sky rolling by. And I think the core experience, the interactive experience of that game really, really suffered because of it. And the good news is, just from a career standpoint, we had enough of the other stuff. We pulled off the atmosphere so well, and some of the sort of surface stuff so well, that we kind of got a free pass on the fact that the gameplay was good, but it wasn't great. But I definitely think it's probably the least quality gameplay. I think 2 is the best, 1 is the second best, and Black is the third best.
The cars would get designed first, and then characters, we would talk about cool, compelling, weird, wacky type of characters. And that was just kind of a process of applying those different characters to the different cars. And that was always a fun process, and one that really endured a lot of changes throughout the development. And, that used to really frustrate the hell out of me. It's like, wait a minute, why is this character now in that car? Jaffe, what the hell is going on here? But there was always a good, sound, solid reason for it, and you know, again, in the end, the characters I think really were a good fit to the cars.
A lot of times with characters, it's Dave Jaffe sends us this wacky stuff that we go, what is this? You know, it's like he sent us these photos of something we called Zipper Chick, and it was a large person in leather with zippers and holding fetuses and things.
My favorite character would have to be Mr. Grimm.
I think my mind bent so much it snapped in two.
I just really like the whole, you know, the speed of his motorcycle. He can get into and out of trouble quickly. I like his, you know, the Gatling gun sidecar is really cool. You can never go wrong with a skull helmet. I mean,
Axle was, you know, tied up in those tires. In order to gain his freedom out of the huge tires that he was molded to or robotically connected to, he literally ripped his arms out of the tires. We had some dripping blood, some disgusting sound, and I just never thought we were going to get away with it.
Oh my God! I am a free man, and you are no longer my father.
There was a character that was named Scott Campbell in the game, and he was the driver of Spectre. I was pretty stoked about the character. In fact, I really didn't even know that he was going to be called Scott Campbell until I saw it show up. You know, it's kind of a surprise. Always usually a pleasant surprise when you find out, wow, I wonder what the backstory is on this one.
I love Sweet Tooth. My first memory of Sweet Tooth was we had a list of potential vehicles and characters, and one line said, ice cream truck driven by demonic clown.
Here's where Sweet Tooth, I think, came from now. At 36 years old, I can tell you, so I actually spoke to a therapist about this several years ago, and I said, okay, Kratos, who's a character I had a huge hand in creating from God of War, and Sweet Tooth, who's a character I had a huge hand in creating for Twisted Metal. Both of these characters are testosterone-fueled, aggressive, animalistic. They take exactly what they want when they want it. And I'm not going to go into too many personal details about my life, but let's just say for the longest time, certainly when I was developing those characters, that wasn't who I was if you saw me walking down the street. But I can promise you that that's who I was underneath the surface.
As much as I had those old urges of mine, I kept them to myself for the moment.
It's interesting how who you really are and what you really want ends up coming out in your creative work. That was such a revelation to me when I realized that I realized that Jesus, Sweet Tooth is me. You know, Kratos is me. You know, that was both terrifying and very, very exciting.
But I think it's run its course. It's spanned through 3 different platforms, and again, I think, you know, sometimes it's good to leave on a high note.
We know that it entertained a lot of people. We know it kept a lot of people up late.
Anytime a game does not have good characters and good stories, you just end up with a lousy game.
We need to find what is going to spark something, you know, that gets people interested in a genre again.
The spark will come back, and we'll have a lot of really cool new ideas. I would hate to say that it's farewell. I hope down the road, you know, maybe someday we'll see it made into a movie.
I don't think we're the kind of beloved series that really goes down in sort of gaming history as like, oh my God, that's one of the best games ever. But I love that position for this series. I think that's what the series, it feels pure to me. It feels like that's what it's meant to be. And when it resonates with those kinds of people, that makes me really, really happy. There's a lot of hardcore fans of the series, and they'll write to us and they'll call us and tell us all this stuff that we don't know.
My favorite Twisted Metal level, I'd have to say it's Moscow and Twisted Metal 2. There's something about the balance in there. There's not enough weapons. Needs to be more weapons, but something about that ball design is freaking nice and balanced.
We've been really fortunate that we've had great fans and lots of excitement, in the marketplace for our stuff, and that just makes it all worthwhile.
Twisted Metal 2 to me was a classic game in my eyes, but I was craving a game that was a little darker, a little more violent, a little more disturbing, and Twisted Metal Black definitely delivered that hands down.
Thank you for all the great feedback that we've gotten over the years. I think it's really helped shape the game for the better.
Let's talk Twisted Metal. I love Twisted Metal, and the reasons have changed quite a bit over the years, but the thing that's always been constant from day one is that it's just got, to me, the most incredibly deep multiplayer experience.
To the fans of Twisted Metal, you guys are loyal, you guys are passionate.
For whatever reason, Twisted Metal has always just been a very good game for replay value. It never gets old for me, and a lot of people from TMA just feel the same way. And we hope you guys keep that up. It's really a tremendous aspect of the series.
That you care enough about what we do to write about it, to blog about it, to make boards about it, and most importantly to play it and to enjoy it. And so thank you so much for caring about our work. That means everything to us.
I love Twisted Metal because I love fast-paced combat, I love blowing crap up, I love multiplayer, playing with my friends, but most importantly, it's great to have a story with characters you can relate to.
You know, what can you say? Thank you.
And that's it for today's episode. I will be seeing you guys next week. See you guys then.